Hi guys, it's me, the Big B again, and today I'm going to touch on a subject from my last video, which was the SCD-1 versus the Echovox, the truth. Now, if anyone's been following what's been going on with Mr. Huff and his new portal and Danny Big B at Studios and Echovox, it's getting kind of heated and it's getting kind of silly. Now, I'm going to put an annotation on actually that side of a post Mr. Huff put up about one of his investigations, and this is really starting to piss me off, and it's pissing a lot of people off, to be honest, and it's getting a bit silly. And before anyone posts in the comments below like they did last time about being jealous of Mr. Huff, and just get over it, it's not about jealousy. This is about a guy who's single-handedly trying to take down any credibility that anybody in the ITC world, in the paranormal field, have tried to build up over the years. And, you know, have done so with hard work and hard graft. And this guy is making a mockery of the whole fucking thing. I'm just going to read this statement out. It's going to be on screen so you can see it, but it's just, you've got to hear the words. He's talking about the video he's made with Chill Seekers Ghost Hunting Group, who are apparently another group who are just trying to shoot for fame and fortune. They're not really interested in what they're doing. But he says, "Oh wow is all I can say. When you see the Gold Room session, your jaw will drop. I'm fucking sure it will. It was the clearest, most concise spirit communication I have ever heard in life using the portal in SCD-1. So here he goes. This is the best communication he's ever heard using his device, his portal, which we'll get to the portal in a minute, and his SCD-1, which has already been stripped apart and put back together and prove that it doesn't work, it's fake, it's not what he says it was, it doesn't do what he says it does, but that you can watch my last video about. But it's this next little nugget of information that really, you know, winds people up. When I say ever, I mean ever. No footage exists like what you will hear in this session. No footage exists. Are you sure about that, Mr. Huff? Have you heard of this thing called fucking YouTube, where people put all of their evidence, and there are some groups who aren't shooting for fucking stardom, they're working hard behind the scenes, going out on investigations, putting this evidence together, and then sharing it. They're not saying, I am the chosen one, I am from Loving Light, and this is the only way. They just think, well, this is what we've caught, have a look, it's good evidence. No footage exists like what we have caught. Well, I've seen the footage, and it's bollocks, is what all I can say. It's his portal, his portal device, which I'm going to come back to in a minute, because that's going to be a fucking rant. His portal device stood, and he's asking questions. Again, it's all highly edited. There's no live shit going off here. It's all questionable. And it basically, responses coming back, but it's all responses. Again, there are some responses that are relating to questions he's asking, but there are some responses that basically are just kissing his arse, like always kissing his arse. How good is Steve Huff? You know, it's like, Jesus, the fucking image I get in my head every time that, you know, the spirits, the other side, are sort of like coming through and saying how wonderful he is, that he's standing there off camera with his trousers round his ankles, jacking himself off. I'm sorry, but that's how you think, because he, you know, that's the way you feel. I mean, Jesus Christ, it really winds me up. And in that one statement, he's saying no footage exists, so all the evidence that anyone else has ever caught is just null and void, because this is just beyond anything. And it's basically, at best, it's, if it's genuine, it's okay. But I've seen a lot more impressive and a lot more communication out of other devices. And I am not just talking about Echovox. I've had more fucking, you know, responses out of a standard little spirit box that I bought. You know, it's just like, it's not that impressive, Mr. Huff. All you're doing is you're trying to sell your product. You're trying to sell SCD-1. This isn't even about the portal, because you changed your tune on the portal, which is now what we're going to fucking come to, the portal. You changed the goalposts on that one, You had every intention of selling that until people who were not dumb enough to have fallen for the con, who called you out, then you had to change your friggin' tune. The portal. He announces this portal, after his SCD-1 got slammed, and it did get slammed by, and again, not just by what he calls the Huff haters, the people who use Echovox, Danny followers, by a lot of credible groups. It got canned. And he then came out with the portal. This device that is going to end all ITC devices. The device that is going to take the paranormal world by storm and the ITC world by storm. This thing is going to be beyond a game changer. The SCD-1 was the game changer. This is the fucking real deal. This is going to be 100% validated, 100% communication with the other side. It's going to be like the fucking bat phone of the paranormal world. You just pick it up, you don't even have to fucking dial, you pick it up and you're talking to the other side. And we expected this incredible device. We thought we were going to get this device that looked like something out of fucking Star Trek, that it was going to be all singing and all dancing, it was going to be the dog's bollocks. Even if you believed in Huff, that's the impression you gave. What did we get? What was the reality? The reality was a cheap guitar amp from Amazon. You can go and find it, cheap thing on Amazon. Some of my colleagues did, which he then proceeded to bolt on some hardware sound filters, which again are used for musicians, for like guitar amps and things. It's basically to filter noise, because he said he wanted to filter out any background noise. He wanted pure communication, and again, fair enough, don't we all? But we expected this standalone device that was built from the ground up. It's a fucking cheap guitar amp with some hardware filters bolted onto the side. They look like it's been glued onto the fucking side with some wires in. And what powered this portal? His SCD-1. He just built a speaker. And that was his 100% guaranteed, validated device that would communicate with spirit. He basically built a speaker with a couple of filters on it, and then stuck his already crappy software on it, and which he actually said, if you watch some of his past videos, said he built SCD-1 to filter out any radio noise because it uses online radio, and it already supposed to have filtered out, or it's supposed to have already done all of this. So what he's saying is, it wasn't doing that, so he had to build this speaker to do that. But this portal, this grand imagining, turned out to be a speaker. And when people called him on it, said, fucking hell, and they found all the component parts on Amazon, and so I'm not going to sell it, because, you know, it was some bullshit number, $800 it would cost the thing. And when you put the component parts together, you're talking like, you know, it was $160 for the speaker, if that, and God knows how much, you know, $20 for each extra bit of hardware bolted onto it. So, you know, a couple of $100 max if you push the boat out of cheap parts that any idiot could whack together and do what he did. And a lot of people already have, you know, it's a standard piece of kit. So what he's saying is that if I took Echovox on my mobile phone, went out and bought any shitty speaker, stuck a couple of bits on it, bolted a couple of wires on it, made it look a bit space-agey, and as soon as I plug it into Echovox, I have created something new. I've created the gateway to the other side, because I've already used an already existing device, an app, and just plugged basically a cobbled together speaker onto it, and I've created the portal. No, that's his design. Mine's going to be the gateway. I'm going to create and patent the gateway. And as far as Huff's concerned, about everyone that uses Echovox, it'll be the gateway to hell, I have no doubt, because we all following hate and we all following darkness. The only true way, and the only true way of the love and the light, is if you use the SCD-1 and the portal. You've got to be coming from love and light, because everyone that uses Echovox, all of the groups, all of the credible groups, all the people that have used Echovox, which have even, again, used it on TV shows and other people have as well, We're all coming from a place of darkness and evil. We're all Danny's minions, all running around trying to spread the hate and bring him down, because his is the one true way of the light. Isn't this reminding you of something? Like some self-proclaimed fucking, evangelist? Mine is the one true way, and anyone that questions this one true way is jealous. They're coming from darkness. It is the devil's work coming to shut me down, because I am the one true word. I am the one true light. It just is fucking scary. And I don't actually hate the guy. What I hate him for is because of this bullshit that he puts on like this. See, everyone from the Echovox community, if you want to call them communities, everyone who uses Echovox, we don't shout out it is the one true way, because it's not. It's good at what it does. But it's one of many devices we use. It's one of many techniques we use to communicate with the other side. We use Echovox, we use proper Spirit Vox, we use many other techniques, EVB recorders, K2 meters, we use everything. We don't just rely on Echovox to get what we get and capture the evidence we capture. It's not the one true way. It's just fucking good and it works. It does what it says on the tin. Danny's never confessed that it does anything else apart from what it does. He does live sessions with his own software to show that it's live. The communication he's getting is live. It's not edited in after the fact. He is sitting in on a live session. Mr. Huff's never done that. He's never done a live session. And he just maybe doesn't want to. That is possible. But it's more than possible based on all the other crap that seems to be coming out that he can't do a live session because he's putting editing stuff into the videos to make them, because he has to live up to this statement now that the portal is going to give 100% guaranteed, 100% every time communication. And of course, in the paranormal world, we can't guarantee that. I can turn Echovox on now and get shit all. It'll just spout out random gibberish. If there's nothing that wants to communicate, it won't communicate. And I've done that. We've all done it, guys. We've all sat on an investigation and sat there for hour after hour after hour and getting nothing. And what Mr. Huff's saying is, turn my portal on and you will get guaranteed results. You won't, Mr. Huff. You don't get guaranteed results every time. And you cannot go around making statements like that. No footage exists. What about the people who do have footage that exists that was far more credible than the one you've just put out? Like I said, it's okay at its best if it's real. You ask some questions, you get some responses. 99% of your responses are the spirit world actually endorsing your product, your invention, which they would not do. They would maybe mention it and they enjoy using it, but they would not push it like what you're saying. They would not kiss your ass as much as what they're saying, that you, Mr. Huff. Like I said, you need to come down off that pedestal you've put yourself on. You need to come back down to earth with us mere mortals. And you need to do what the rest of us are doing. We're doing what we're doing to show people that there is something out there. We're communicating with something. We don't know what it is 100%. Nobody does. All we know is we are communicating with something, and it seems to be people who have passed over, who've basically died. Spirit. But we don't know 100%. Until we go over there and we can see what's going on, we don't know. We are communicating with something. You are guaranteeing 100% validated communication, and it's not. You look at all the other videos on the internet. People using spirit boxes, even Class A EVPs, any form of communication. They are not saying that it is like nothing ever caught. They're saying it's really good. It's like, wow, it's awesome evidence. That's what we say. It's awesome evidence. It's brilliant. Good catch, mate. Good catch, team. Whatever. We don't sit there and say nothing else exists like this. I've caught an EVP and nothing else in the world exists like this. Because there are many other people catching very similar and often better evidence. It's always progressing. People are finding new techniques and new ways that are working. but they're not saying and coming out with bullshit like this. And you wonder why people are attacking you. They're not attacking you, Huff, because it's personal against you. They're attacking what you're doing. Like what I said, there are people who have spent years, decades in this field, building up credibility, showing people that it's not just a joke, that it's not just in people's heads. We're using as much scientific techniques as we can, using the equipment we can to show people. And people started to take a notice. They were sitting up and listening. And then you come along and you start spouting all this crap. You couldn't just say, look, I've created this app. It really works. It's really good. You know, please come along and try it and see what you think. No, you came along. You started reviewing other apps, which you said are really brilliant for spirit communication. You started out kind of almost humble. That you started out getting a little bit of communication. You were using different devices. You even said EchoVox was one of the best ones you'd used at the time. It was really good. But then you decided to do something yourself. You decided to, which again is fine. You brought out an app. That is fine. That is good. But then as soon as your app was announced, as soon as you needed your app to sell, every other app and almost every other device that you reviewed was crap. It was a fake. It was of haters. Yours was the only one. Yours was the one that worked. It was going to change the game. And you just turned from someone who had a bit of credibility to someone who was basically just a salesman. You were pushing a pitch. You were just pushing a pitch, and you rubbished everything else around you and behind you, and you just had to push this thing forward. And to the point now where we get into statements like this, that you're just making out that we just all after you because you are the truth and we trying to shut you down. We're not. You come back down to earth with the rest of us and you start doing things like the rest of us do, and people will listen. Admit your mistake and people will listen. Show us some real evidence and people will listen. And like I said in my past video, you show me that you're not just full of arrogance and full of shit and you're just a good salesman. You show me that you really, really, really can make something and do something that will work, and you're not just coming out with statements like that. And I will be the first to apologise. I will say, fair enough, you've seen what you did wrong, he's trying. But I know you won't. You won't, because you're so high on this pedestal, so high up, you can't even see the rest of us down here. We just something you're stepping on. We're just devil worshippers, Satanists, fucking working for the Dark Lord. I mean, really, these statements are just... they're the things that are jaw-dropping, Mr. Huff. Not your evidence. It's the statements you're coming out like this. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. That was a bit of a rant, because it was a proper rant, because it's really bugging us. And you know, I'm following this every day, all these statements popping on Facebook and popping on Danny's sort of EchoVox group page, and you know, it's like, it's starting to get really, really scary. Again, no matter what anybody says about Danny, he pushes his product, he puts advertising up, because he's still, you know, it is a product, but he doesn't proclaim it's the only one. He's not proclaiming he's created, you know, the portal to anywhere, or it's 100% guaranteed, because he knows it's not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, even during his live events that he posts, does on YouTube, sometimes shit happens, sometimes shit doesn't. It's as simple as that. It's the way it goes. And he's not rubbishing anyone else. He's not even like what people say. The only reason he's attacking Huff and attacking the SCD-1 because it's proved to be fake. It's fake, and he's pushing it as real, and it's hurting the paranormal community. Everything Huff's doing is hurting everyone in the paranormal community that's got any freaking credibility and tried to build up any credibility, because people are now seeing it as a joke, an absolute joke. And especially when someone is coming out with statements like he's coming out with, you know, what's he going to come out with next? Like I joked in my last video that he's going to come out with a device and claim that he can talk to God. He's claimed he can talk to every fucking dead star and musician or whatever that's died recently. As soon as it's on the news that a star or a film star, somebody's died, the next day he's had direct communication with them through his devices. No. Again, look on the videos, look on the evidence. You don't see people from using Echovox and other forms of communication, even down to a simple K2 using yes and no answers, come out with bullshit like that. It's not credible, it's not ethical, and it's not respectful. And especially for the person who's just passed over, and for their family and friends as well, that you come out with this shit. And that sort of shit's got to stop. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that's starting to piss a lot of people off. And it's causing problems for the rest of us. So right guys, I'm going to leave it there. It was a rant. I know I'm going to get some haters down there in the comments. I really don't care. This is my opinion. Everyone else has got a different opinion. This is just what I see. I'm reading a lot of these comments. I'm reading comments that some of you who are watching these videos might not be able to see if you're not directly involved with Danny and Echovox and things like that. So I know I'll get some Huff haters and things like that, but I'm not bothered. I'm not coming from a place of jealousy. I have nothing to be jealous of. If Huff had created something truly spectacular, I still wouldn't have been jealous. I would have been buying that shit and using it. It's as simple as that. This is not a jealousy thing. It's about credibility. It's about being honest to who you are and not doing shit like that. It's as simple as that, guys. So, right, guys, I'm going to catch you next time and have fun.